Hello, everybody. My name is, of course, Godzilla Man 123. Today I'm with my friend Cole. Cole, say hi.
What's up?
And we're going to be simply talking about albums. Now, music's always been a pretty big part of my life, and, well, I have racked up a decent album collection, 13 albums last time I checked. And basically, we're going to pin them against each other in a March Madness style bracket. We have this slide here is every album I have. Today we're going to be talking about Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road and Blurryface. I've ranked these albums 1 through 13 beforehand. Blurryface was the 13. Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road was the fifth or fourth, I think. And basically March Madness style. If you know March Madness, you know how this works. So we're going to be talking about Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road and Blurryface today. So I'll start out by talking a little bit about Blurryface. So Blurryface, although it's the worst album I think I own, it was the first album I ever got. Pretty important album to me. I remember listening to Stressed Out. I think it was in like fourth grade or third grade, and then immediately being like, I need to buy this album. I will say though, I kind of later on, when I got into more music, specifically more 21 Pilots works, this album really paled in comparison, lyrically and musically, to any album I own. Just because like there's still good songs and there's still good lyrics, but the problem I've always had with this album is it's very mainstream-ish, very pop-like. The lyrics don't exactly go as deep as their earlier and later albums. There's songs in Trench and Scaled and Icy and their self-titled album that are just so much deeper, and there's still some good lyrics in this album. Stressed Out, particularly, I think has really good lyrics. I think, but like the problem with this album, you match subdue. I think is a good term. Subdue lyrics, good lyrics, but not as great as the rest of the albums with poppy, simplified music, and it kind of just leads to a good album. Still, it's still a good album, but compared to the band's previous and future endeavors, it doesn't compare. So, Cole, what do you think about Blurryface?
I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. I've never been a big 21 Pilots fan, and the reason for that is for the songs Stressed Out and Ride, which are both on this album. I just think they're both pretty overplayed, and I've never been a big fan of either of them. I would agree, though, that the lyrics for Stressed Out are pretty good, and definitely the lyrics for this album kind of carried it, in my opinion. I wasn't a big fan of much the instrumentation on this album. There were a few songs that I really liked, such as "Heavy Dirty Soul" and "Fairly Local."
Oh my, yes, yeah,
Those
those were good.
songs, I think those songs were definitely my favorite. Uh, yeah, it was definitely though. I mean, it wasn't the best album though. It was fairly hit or miss. Um,
What
and
were what were
Tyler,
the misses in your opinion?
the misses
Yeah.
definitely. I didn't like "We Don't Believe What's on TV."
Oh, that song is so the the some of the songs like they feel so uninspired, and
Right.
especially for a 21 Pilot album. Cole, you
And
haven't listened to their earlier albums, have you? Right?
no,
Not at this point. Yeah.
This is my first
The
21 Pilots album
I'm
I've listened to.
if you compare this to their earlier albums, this album seems so uninspired and lacking of like there's songs that feel so personal in their first album and vessel in every album. Okay, this
Yeah,
song doesn't have this album doesn't have a song that I'm like, yeah, Tyler Joseph sat down and really connected with himself to write these lyrics, and then just the music. I don't know, it's
yeah.
interesting.
I feel like "Not Today." That song just brings down the whole album, bro. That song is trash. I don't know why it's on here, but it is trash.
Okay, let's
Yeah. Other
let's
than that, I mean, I thought it was pretty. It was all right.
okay. So we both agree some of the best songs. I have a question. How did you feel about Message Man is an interesting one in my opinion, and the Judge.
I Yeah, I ended up liking Message Man. I
What
like the
about
lyrics to it and I like the instrumentation to it.
what about
However, with the judge, I like the lyrics, but I just did not like the instrumentation on it. I
really?
yeah, I was
Yeah,
more of a fan of the lyrics than
you're
anything.
incorrect. Object. No. Okay, let's start out with some of our. Let's start out with the negatives because okay, let's just get this over with.
Yeah, there are more of those.
I would say okay, the first five albums is the fairly popular side. Stressed out, ride, tear in my heart, heavy, dirty soul. All were especially stressed out and ride were immense hits. So let's start heavy, dirty soul, or we start out with the negative. After the judge, the last half of the album, it's very hit or miss. Again, you have songs I think that are interesting musically, Judge or the Doubt, Pulverize, Message Man, Hometown, but like there's nothing. See, like there's good lyrics throughout the album, but like compared to Stressed Out and I think Lane Boy, the Judge, uh, the latter half of the album, especially We Don't Believe What's on TV and Not Today, seem so bland, so bland. You know what I'm saying, Cole?
It just they didn't really. You could. I mean, I think it was kind of obvious how their. I mean, I feel like their creativity just kind of got less and less throughout as the album went on. Like they just ran out of ideas as the album went on,
Yeah.
and so the quality of each song just kind of
There,
plummeted.
I would say it's interesting because the first seven lyrics are all I think besides maybe like fairly local is a decent song. There's not really Tear My Heart's the only like in the first half of the album. Tear My Heart is the only like lyric like song lyrically that I think is just pretty average. The latter half though is so hit or miss because it sucks because the latter half has I think the more interesting instrumentation, There's a lot of different sounds, Doubt,
Yeah,
Pulverized, Message Man and Hometown all sound really interesting and unique, right?
right.
But they don't have it. But then again, you can't listen to this album like all songs and without being taken out of the mood with We Don't Believe It's on TV, Not Today, and
I
I
feel
would.
like
Do you like the
they
first half?
definitely they definitely closed this album though with a good song. I like Goner.
Yeah, me
I
too.
like
Me
I
too.
like its lyrics. I like the instruments. Its lyrics hit hard.
Oh yeah. And
I mean, it's one of the more heavy hitters on this album.
do you know what Dima is, Cole?
No,
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of explaining. Dima is a fictional world 21 pilots made out, and there's nine bishops in Dima. We're gonna get into Dima more, probably in Trench, because that's the main part of the album. Look at the album cover though, right? You see what I'm seeing? There's nine of the little circle things.
yeah,
And it I will say if you know more about Dima, this album definitely because like especially in Goner and any mention of Blurryface himself seems like I don't know if Blurryface is like an alter ego of Tyler or
that's how I
more of
interpret it.
his. But Blurryface is definitely I think either the worst part of Tyler or the best parts. And I think all nine bishops represent some sort of negative trait just about the world, which is interesting if you know about it. If you but like it can't carry this album, right? Some of the themes are just like there's some interesting themes in this album, but there's nothing taken real in depth. I thought Hometown, in my opinion, what I took from that Hometown was kind of like a reflection of how we see kind of like different things from our childhood. But like that's an interesting concept. They just didn't take it any further than, than just that. It's almost frustrating,
It
right?
is because there's like you can either have a pretty good song or a pretty bad song. There's like no really in between for me
Yeah. Okay,
on this
so
album.
I think we've talked about the negatives enough on Blurryface. Positive, Heavy Dirty Soul slaps. Okay,
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
so it is
yeah.
it's arguably the best song of the album in my opinion. I still think there's a couple songs. There are three songs I would say are my favorite: Message Man, Heavy Dirty Soul, and then The Judge. And I think Heavy Dirty Soul is your favorite, right?
It's a toss up from Heavy Dirty Soul and Fairly Local. I really liked Fairly Local.
Yeah, Fairly Local sounds interesting enough. I just don't think I, I don't know. It's fairly, in my opinion, it's fairly forgettable. Um, I will say positive. We talked about like the instrumentation being very like poppy and stuff. It's
Mhm.
a fun album to listen to, right?
Yeah,
It's if you're listening, the best case scenario I think with Blurry Faces, like you just kind of want to chill and listen to. It's a radio album, okay?
yeah. You could listen to this in the car.
Yeah, and it has a lot of radio songs, okay? A lot of what I consider radio songs are songs you hear on the radio and you're like, "Oh, that's really cool." But if you have like a choice of like, I can listen to this song, you're not going to choose that song very much. But again, it's not a bad listen. Like every once in a while, you just kind of want to listen to it, and it sounds good. But
I agree.
if you dive into it any further than just, oh, this sounds cool, it has some interesting lyrics, it falls flat. But that being said, it's not a bad album, and it has some good songs. I listen to Heavy Dirty Soul uh, and The Judge a lot. Um, Josh Dunn, the drummer, oh my lordy, that man, he doesn't get appreciated, but he
That's
is.
I know we're talking about the positives here, but the one quick negative is that there's I feel like there's more drum sampling going on than there should be, especially with a talented drummer like him on the album. I feel like
Yeah, yeah,
there should be more songs with him with them just recording him playing on the drum kit without sampling.
yeah. I would agree. I feel like he's in the background a bit too much on this album.
Yeah.
He can very easily. Tyler Joseph's very talented musically as well, but he can very easily take over a track in a good way. And that I don't think it's the same thing with I think certain Bruce Springsteen songs. I know this is very random, but like if you have such a talented musician, sometimes you just gotta like let him play, right? And I feel like that's something they lack in this album. So overall, I think it's a good listen. It's nothing terribly special though. What do you think, Cole?
As a whole, it's I think it's mediocre. It's not I wouldn't consider it good just because of my personal tastes. I don't like I've never been a big fan of the poppier stuff, but I definitely did appreciate uh, the lyrics on it, especially when they were really good and heavy hitting, and the instrumentation had some really good moments too.
Okay, so we're gonna switch on to the other side. Goodbye, the Yellow Brick Road. I'm gonna let you talk about what you feel about Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road first, Cole.
So you've heard me talk about how I wasn't a big fan of the poppier stuff, and how I was talking a lot about the instrumentation and how that was very hit or miss. That's not the case for this album. I think every song has awesome moments in it.
Oh,
The vocals from Elton John are really good um, on every song. The lyrics though are a little dull at some of the
yeah,
songs.
yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
But I mean, I just think
It's
it's
it's just better than
yeah.
Blurryface.
I mean, it's just I mean, come on.
It's better. I think we all know where this is going. So yeah, I would agree with you. Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road is very. It's much more pleasing. I don't think it with Blurryface and Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road. I think they're both pleasing to listen to. The difference is with Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road, a lot of these songs you can go a lot deeper with, right? And you can really listen to over and over again and pick up on new things in the track over and over. Um, I know you like Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. How do you that song is so good.
Banger, banger.
Yeah, it's
I
really good.
so for I made a Google Doc, right, and I
Hmm.
put songs that I like, and then bullet all the songs that I liked on the album, and then dislike. But for this album, I put like and then meh because there's no songs that I really disliked. But I had to put in parentheses next to the great songs banger, and this is one of them.
Okay,
I
so
love that song.
it's so good. I love it's such a good opening for the album because it's so atmospheric. It gets you in the mood to listen to an album. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? It's
yeah,
it calms you down and then dude, the first part of the actual, funeral for a friend part, like just the sounds.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, did they do an amazing job with just the sounds. It is
I got
so
I got big old Pink Floyd vibes from that.
see,
Was that
yeah,
just me?
honestly, yeah, I got Pink, yeah. It was more like soft rock Pink Floyd, right?
Yeah,
I got yeah, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
yeah. They killed
Um
it.
and then the second part, it just it flows so well. It's like 13, isn't it like 13 minutes of just
I think it's 11 minutes.
11 minutes of just good music. And like the thing is, I don't care about the lyrics are honestly pretty bland, right? But I don't
Right.
care because the music adds so much to the song
Yeah.
to the point where it's like it's just so good. The music adds atmosphere to the lyrics. The music adds, like the vivid scene of like two people fighting and this one guy just or one, I think I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but one lover leaves the relationship, and it's like it's almost empowering the way the music and Elton John sings it. I it's so good. It's really good.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And then you go from Funeral for a Friend to Candle in the Wind, one of the some of the best lyrics by Elton John, arguably ever. I will say Candle in the Wind. I don't think okay. The first four songs are just amazing, right? I think Candle in the Wind are the weakest out of like the really popular songs. If that makes sense, you know, out of Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road, Benny and the Jets, Candle in the Wind, Saturday Night's Rifle Fighting. Candle in the Wind is definitely the weakest one, I think, but I mean it's still great, right? Um,
I mean, Candle. I mean, you can't get too much better lyrically
and
than
Candle,
Candle.
yeah,
I mean, that's definitely one of the high points for the lyrics.
Benny and the Jets. What do you feel about Benny and the Jets, Cole?
I love that song.
It's
Song got stuck in my head after I listened to it. I had to take a break so I
yeah,
could like reset
it
and then
was
come back with Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road,
it
which
was
is phenomenal too.
dude. Benny and the Jets is in my top 10 songs of all time for a reason. This album has four or three best songs. Benny and the Jets, Goodbye the Epic Road, Saturday Night Survivor Fighting. Benny and the
Yeah.
Jets it's so interesting, right? It, it's it really felt like Elton John just kind of just sat there for a while and just thought about what's the weirdest song I can make. And he made the perfect cocktail of of the piano at the beginning, the loud banging piano to you know the the loud lyrics, the high pitched everything about that song is amazing. Everything about it is so interesting to listen to. And
Yeah.
again,
Totally agree.
lyrically, it's not like the best song ever, but you don't care. It's the same with Funeral for a Friend. With Benny and the Jets, you don't care that the lyrics are bad because the instrumentation sets up atmosphere, which improves the lyrics. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and see that's what the problem was for Blurryface is because when the lyrics were bad, probably the instrumentation was probably also bad. So it was just a
Yeah,
not a good song. But with this album, it's either you got really good lyrics, and
and
okay
pretty good
instruments,
instrumentation.
or really good lyrics, or yeah, dull lyrics and the really good instrumentation.
Yeah, and Same with Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road. I think Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road is the happy medium with interesting instrumentation and good lyrics, right?
That refrain though,
I don't know what that is.
I'm not gonna sing it,
Oh, when he
but
goes,
it's after the verse.
the
After the
blues,
verse,
when he says the blues,
yeah,
that is so good. Yes.
yeah. That's
Good,
my favorite part of the whole song, or the refrains.
Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road is such, it is the perfect blend of on this album. Although I like Benny and the Jets better, I use the term objectively the best song, and of course it's not objective, but like I'll say this: if aliens were like, you give us one song from this album that you think we'll like, or we're gonna destroy your planet, you would give them Goodbye the Elliptic Road because it's lyrically it's great, vocally it's great, musically it's great, everything about it is great, and it adds the best parts of all these albums or all these songs together, makes it a great. It's just great. It's great. There's no other
Very
way you can.
well-rounded, great song on this
So
album.
after the first four tracks, I will say it gets a little bit interesting until you. Okay, I will say tracks 5 through 11 are probably the is that's probably when you're gonna be like falling off the album a little bit. They're still good, right? I've seen that movie
Hold
too.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
What?
Um, I've seen that movie too.
Is so good.
Is a banger.
It's
That
so
is
good.
that is this is that's probably my favorite song on the album.
It's so good. It has Pink Floyd vibes too.
It does.
It does.
I mean,
It is
that's
so good.
probably my favorite song on the album. I've seen that movie too,
It's not. I've seen
and
them.
it's weird
Yeah, you go ahead.
because it's weird because the song before that is trash.
I know. Okay, let's get this. Let's get the negatives out of the way. I think Jamaican, the seventh song, and 11th, Dirty Little Girl, and then Social Disease are the easily the worst songs on this album. That being said, they're not the bad of Blurryface. They don't take you out of the album as much. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
They're still passable, right? If you're listening to it casually, they're not gonna bother you too much. But yeah, those are definitely weak points. Just and I would say even Your Sister Can't Twist, but She Can Rock and Roll is pretty average as well.
Yeah, I didn't like. I wasn't a big fan of that song.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It
it
was just
was
that kind of. It
it was
reminded me of like the '50s bar vibe, and
yeah.
I don't think it really fit well with the
Speaking
rest of the songs on the
of
album.
speaking of 50 bar vibe, Saturday Night Survivor Fighting. Saturday, it's 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 so good. It's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Just the opening is just that just one note, just that, oh, I have it in my mind. It's so good, right?
yeah.
Eh,
I agree with that.
eh, I think yeah, I think Saturday Night Survive Fighting is the same with Goodbye the Olympic Road, the song. It adds every part of Elton John and his music and the lyrics of Bernie Taupin perfectly together to make a great song. Lyrically, it's great. Elton John, you can feel him like kind of vibing with this song, right?
Hmm.
I feel like he's jamming with the like the sounds as he's making them. Does that make sense?
Yes,
It gives the song this kind of like energy about it that's just it's
like you
so
can
good.
when the musician feels it too. It just brings up the whole vibe of the song and makes it that much more powerful and better.
Yeah, it's so good. So yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of just good songs on this album. Harmony, I like that song so much. It's so
I
I
yeah I liked Harmony.
Harmony. I was just like Sweet Painted Lady, Harmony, Gray Seal. The song has no title. How do you feel about All the Young Girls Love Alice?
I love that song.
It's good. It's good. It's really good.
It's really good. Yes.
I will say, okay, if we're gonna critique this album, the only problem I have is there's so much good Elton John in this album, a lot of the good Elton John becomes forgettable, right? So it sounds like a weird critique
Well, no,
because
yeah, that makes sense. That makes
like yeah,
sense.
too much of a good thing, but like
But also, like, then how are you gonna judge it for being too good, though? You
yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly. Like
it's a weird critique, but I understand.
yeah,
'Cause then each song kind of you can forget it.
yeah, because like again, I would say songs 5 through the rest of the album besides Saturday Night's a Ride for Fighting, All the Young Girls Love Alice, I've seen that movie too, and Harmony are all good songs, but nothing really sticks with you outside of the first four and then the few exceptions. But
Yeah,
again,
if we were
it's
if we
such
removed Jamaica Jerk Off from the song from this album, I think it would be a better album.
it's yeah, that song is so it's not good. It's
I
not
think he was just trying to do something experimental and it didn't
it didn't really
really
work.
work out. Yeah,
But then yeah, but then there's certain songs like again, I've seen that movie too. You like that a lot. I like that one too. Gray
it's my
Seal.
favorite song.
Yeah, it's a good song. I like, Gray Seal a lot. Sweet Painted Lady was I thought pretty good. The Ballad of Danny Bailey, Harmony, Roy Rogers. There's just
There's a lot of good music on this album.
and again, it's such a perfect mix of like you can dig into this album musically, lyrically, vocally. You can dig into this album or you can put it on in the background and it be amazing, right? it it's just the perfect blend of everything Elton John brings to the table, and that's why I think it's up there as probably one of his best albums.
I don't have an opinion on that because it's my first Elton John album I've listened to, but it's definitely a banger. And I mean, his the piano and vocals on this album are just through the roof.
Okay, so
Pretty much on every song. I mean, he nails it.
we have. I think everybody knows who's gonna win this round. To
Yeah,
play devil's
obviously,
advocate, Blurryface is still better than most albums just out there in general, right? It's still a good listen. It's still, still has its moments. Just the problem is the highs of Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road are higher than Blurryface, and the lows of Blurryface are lower than Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road. And just like you take an average song from Goodbye the Yellow Brick Road, it pales in comparison to anything from no, I wouldn't say anything, but most from Blurryface. So
I would agree. I think just Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is better.
yeah, it's just better.
I feel like Jamaica Jerk Off is probably better than uh, We Don't
Not
Believe It's on
today.
TV or Not Today.
Yeah. So
I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I hate that. I hate all those. But
yeah. So it's a pretty easy decision. It's still interesting to talk about, but yeah. So I think goodbye the
obviously, Blurryface is the winner.
yeah. So yeah, Kiko, the one in the back, is the one. No.
I think he would say Goodbye Yellow Brick Road
Yeah,
wins. What do
everybody.
you think, Isaac?
Yeah, I think yeah. So it's a clear decision. Goodbye the Other Road is better. Um. So yeah, let's move the thing. This is a very professional Google Doc.
Here we go.
I'm in presentation mode. I can't move it. So yeah, that's the end of our first podcast. That was pretty fun.
It was pretty fun.
Next time I think we're gonna talk about what is it, Nylon Curtain and Caribou, I think, because Nylon Curtain's the 12th ranked, and then another Elton John album, Caribou. Thank you guys for watching. This was a fun experience. I definitely enjoyed this, just making this, and I'll see y'all next time. Cole, do you have anything to say?
Uh, guess who's gonna win the bracket?
Oh yeah,
Take
take your
take a guess
guesses.
who's gonna win.
Take your guesses. Thank you all for watching. I will see y'all the next time. Peace.